This is Make It Simple by FSDH, where we simplify everything business and money.
My name is Stella-Marie Omogbai. I'm the Executive Director of Corporate Banking and Branches at FSDH Merchant Bank. In my role as Executive Director in FSDH Merchant Bank, I'm primarily in charge of financing, particularly financing large corporate value chain. I'm also in charge of the e-channels team, as well as the value chain and healthcare teams. I have been in the banking industry for close to 3 decades. In my roles, or in my various roles in the finance and the banking industry over the years, I have done a lot of work in various companies, particularly the small and medium enterprises, enabled some of them scale from being small and medium enterprises to larger corporates and some of them medium-sized corporates. This I have done over the years and I continue to do. And today I will be talking a lot about infrastructure financing, what FSDH has done in the past and what FSDH can provide and offer to companies in Nigeria. I will also speak about a few examples of FSDH's success story. I will first start by defining infrastructure. Infrastructure is actually the basic and amenities provided by the government for its people. And infrastructure, good infrastructure, is actually essential for the development of any nation. Examples of infrastructure include roads, railway, in fact the whole transportation system, roads, railway, airports, and the whole networks. We also have things like social infrastructure that includes water, healthcare, education. We also have port amenities as well as even other infrastructure, like for example in the specialized industries such as pipelines. And in Nigeria, the World Bank has actually identified that there's a major infrastructure gap. The gap is estimated at $3 trillion, which has to be filled or which has to be addressed by 2050. And this would come from various sources. Most of infrastructure traditionally has been financed by government tax, so tax from government revenues finance a lot of infrastructure. However, recently there's been a lot of private and public enterprise partnerships, and those which an FSDH we have done and exploring to do in such a way that we can finance the infrastructure gap identified in Nigeria. FSDH, as one of the foremost investment and merchant banks, actually takes financing infrastructure very seriously, and we have curated several ways which we finance the infrastructure gap. We have also partnered with the government in some of its development projects. For example, we have participated in the Sukuk bond. We have also been advisors to the federal government in some of the Euro bonds raised. In terms of the private partnerships, we've even supported, and very recently as that, we are supporting the largest refinery project currently in Nigeria and in the world. FSDH has and is supporting a lot of the small and medium scale businesses in Nigeria currently. And one of the things about us in FSDH is we like to support these businesses because we see them as the future corporates. Some of the products which we've created around these businesses have been businesses, for example, we've done lease financing, supplier credits, value chain financing, some of the larger corporates and multinationals currently. We even have currently our Women in Business initiatives, which is deliberately focused for women in the small and medium enterprise space. Some of our success stories include players in transportation industry, food and beverage industry, energy industry, to name a few. To create financial institutions are actually, like in our traditional role, are financial intermediaries. And what do? We take monies from where there's excess and we give monies to where there is a need for those monies. So in our role, what we try and do as financial institutions, what we'll try and do is support the businesses and the private sector players to actually scale or fund the projects that they bring on the table. Traditionally, a lot of financial institutions have not looked at financing this infrastructure gap. But what we have done in FSDH and what some of our fellow financial institutions are doing is looking at this gap, identifying viable projects and funding them, and not only funding them, looking at structures to fund the project. We can do de-risking projects, we can do guarantee products, we can work with the players in this sector, access larger and longer term financing, both foreign and local. We can what we call wrap the projects in such a way that the cash flows from the project actually repay the projects. And one of the things we also do in FSDH is also very different. We do two things actually. One, we train, we work with some of our multinationals to train the partners, the players who are in charge of these projects in such a way that not only do we bring financing, there is training to enable them, to enable project success. We also partner with multinationals. Currently, we have partnerships with Development Bank of Nigeria. We also have partnerships with BOI. And what we do is those partnerships come at a reduced pricing and longer tenure. And those are enabled to ensure that those infrastructure projects actually meet deadlines and are financed right. At FSDH, we do some things, and if I may say, we do it right. One of the things, any project we bring to us, we have very well trained relationship managers. Each of our product offerings is curated to the specific needs of the project. Not only do we bring financing on the table, we bring training on the table, we bring our expertise on the table, and that's why our loan default in FSDH is actually very low. Additionally, when we are financing projects, we also have some partnerships with foreign multilaterals, and we bring de-risking solutions to those projects. So it's not just a plain vanilla financing. You can have some form of insurance, you can have some form of guarantees, both local and foreign. If your project requires that, we can also give you reduced pricing, and we handhold you towards this project to ensure not only project completion but project success. A success story which we are very proud of in FSDH is our support to one of the medium-sized oil and gas companies in Nigeria. We gave them financing when they wanted to buy one of the oil blocks, and that was actually some form of, will I say, acquisition finance. Over the period, that financing transgressed from acquisition finance to what we call the reserve-based lending, and we worked with them over the period. Their need for finance increased over the period from when we started, and FSDH was there every step of the way to increase what they require. So we're there, partnered with them, and not only did we work with them, we also structured it according to the needs. We put collection solutions as well. We put tax solutions. We worked with we also recognized the fact that the project cash flows were delayed at a certain point in time, and we were able to sit and restructure the project until they were now cash flow positive. Currently, that's one of our major success stories. It's one of the success stories in the Nigerian environment, and one of the best oil companies, independent oil companies in Nigeria today. And for us in FSDH, we always see partnerships, and we also look at increasing financing to that company to enable them scale into some other ventures which they are going to go into: green energy, renewable energy, more cleaner energy. And that's what we do well as FSDH. We support you from cradle to the end. So in summary, accessing finance for your business is as simple as FSDH. Please get in touch with us today at any of our locations and online. Thank you.